good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today, my special guest is Donnie McDade. Some of you may not know who that is, but you will before the end of this. And we grew up a little bit together in high school. So, what you been doing, man?
Just raising these kids and, trying to be the best role model I can for my boys and working and grinding and, trying to have
basketball for a while. I mean, you always played basketball in high school, but like you played.
I played pro. I made it to, I played overseas for 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Now look.
Me and Jason Dixon. I think John played overseas too. So
okay.
Three of our starting five made it overseas.
So look, now maybe you don't remember this. So this happened back. Oh man, this is kind of a while ago. I was at a bar downtown Denver, and you had come in the bar, and I think at that time Van Exel was with the Nuggets. Do you remember that?
With me and my little brother.
Maybe. And I tried to buy you a drink, and you looked at me like I was crazy.
Did I? That was me. That ain't even my Mark. Stop playing, because that's not even in my. Not even in my character.
Look, I tried to buy. So here's what. So I didn't see you for a while, obviously, because you was doing your thing. We were at this bar. I don't know if you guys were visiting or what. We were at this bar, and I was like, "Oh, what's up?" So I said, "Man, let me get you a drink." You pulled out a knot of bread, and you was like, "Mark,
I don't carry cash like that.
I got the drinks, man."
Was that me? I don't think that was me.
This was early on. You don't remember that?
Was I just overseas?
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I don't know if you just came
like
back
early 2000s.
And the only reason why I remember it is because I was like, "You need to let me get a jersey," and you was like, "I'll send you one." Here we are, 25 years later,
and I'm writing books.
I was like, "Look,
reading.
But anyway, oh man. So anyway, so you said you got two boys?
3.
Oh, 3 boys. Okay.
I have 3 boys. Yeah. They're all right here somewhere.
How old are the boys?
1-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 12-year-old on Monday. He'll be 12.
Oh, you got kids.
Yes. I waited till I had a little paper to
man, the 1-year-old is really, man.
New wife.
Okay.
New baby.
Okay.
And she didn't have kids, and so,
all right.
I thought I'd oblige.
Oh, that was mighty decent of you, fam.
Thank you.
I'm sure she appreciates your contribution.
She's super dope, though. She's like she's the rest of my life dope. So
that's awesome. So
it's a pleasure. It's like it's something that I, that it's the type of thing that you really, really pray for.
Yeah.
It's coming alive. So a kid.
You're a blended family.
Yeah. So right. and one thing that I wanted to get through to your listeners is that co-parenting is important, bro.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's very, very hard to do, but sometimes you got to take some punches, to get your victories.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I got 4 kids. We're a blended family as well. So now we don't, my wife and we don't have any kids together.
Okay.
But
they all your kids, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, and I raised all 4 of my kids in the same house, and it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that with the co-parenting thing and the blended, the blended family is for my particular household, I did not allow. So I got 3 boys and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I did not allow them to refer to each other as stepbrother, stepsister. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now you could call me stepdad. You can call me by my name, even.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to. For me, as a father, I felt like that was already creating division in the house when we were really trying to build something together, given our circumstances. So that's your brother, that's your sister, and they really clung on to that. My kids are grown, so to this day they don't refer to each other.
And that's something that I have not even introduced to my kids.
Yeah.
So they don't even. I don't even think they know the term.
Yeah. So my kids are going from top to bottom, 30, 27.
We that old, Mark?
Man, look, we talking about we in the same class. You telling on you, right? Look, I was a teen father before it was trendy. Look.
Before it was a thing to do.
Yeah. I set the stage. No, so 30, 27. My daughter's going to be 25 about 2 weeks here, and then the youngest is 21.
Oh, wow!
So they're all out the house. Two of us.
Yeah.
But I got 2 grandkids.
Y'all may as well get a house in Dallas.
I know, right?
Y'all already, all the kids is gone.
My cousin lives out there in Dallas, and his house is phenomenal. And for the price of that house,
yes, you couldn't even get a 1-bedroom in Denver.
Yeah, Denver's expensive as all get out, man.
Right. Seems like as soon as they made weed popular again, it kind of just the economy just kind of took off.
And none of that money even went to the schools. But anyway,
none of it. Right.
No, like the roads are still like no infrastructure, no schools. I was like,
I was just down there July, I believe.
Okay.
I saw my dad for a few days.
Oh, nice. So the roads is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. He lives in Park Hill, right where they're kind of gentrifying.
Yeah, all North Aurora, Park Hill, the Bellows, all that's. Yeah, all
I haven't seen my Bellow. I did go to Central for a minute. I drove through that area. It's still kind of hoodie, and then I rolled by Delmar Park.
Yeah. The Delmar Park area is pretty much stayed the same for the most part. You start getting a little bit outside of that, going more towards like a Colfax, Peoria-ish area, and down towards like Dayton. And
Colfax is scary. I'll tell you that.
It's not as bad as it was in the 80s.
Really?
I mean, I said as bad. I didn't say it was.
I was like, oh my God! I drove down Colfax. I was like, let me take a side street. This some bullshit.
Oh, you must really be in a nice area in Texas.
I am. I'm blessed. I can say that. I am blessed.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But I don't forget where I came from. So
right. It was a different era, man.
It was. It was even the mindset was different.
Yeah, very much so. Very much.
Like we could throw hands back then and be friends.
Oh yeah. Know? Look, I witnessed that many times. Experienced that on a couple occasions.
Yeah, you could take a butt whooping and still be cool.
Well, there was no social media. I mean, no social media.
That's big.
I think that had a big influence on actually on everything, really.
I bet you if I call my kids in here right now, both of them have a cell phone in their hand.
Oh, guaranteed. Look, you know what? I can't even put that all on the kids now because now it's at a point now to where
it's a parenting technique.
Yeah.
It's a babysitter.
Right, exactly. But even grown folks is with the phone. I mean, if you go you go to a lobby anywhere, you go on a bus, you go on a train,
restaurants.
Yeah, all the grown people's on the phone too.
You see 4 people. Mm-hmm. Nobody talking to each other. I don't allow my kids to take their cell phones in restaurants or anything that we do as a family.
So let's talk about that a little bit of fatherhood and parenting techniques and all that. So did you grow up close with your dad?
I did, and he's my stepdad. I've never met my real dad, but my stepdad since I was 1 year old has been in my life. He's not the lovable type dude, you know what I mean? He wasn't the dude to say I love you every day, which I constantly just beat it into my kids. When you hang up the phone, you better say I love you.
Right. No, that was.
And so, and my mom,
black men, especially from that era. My dad the same way.
It's hard to do it. Yeah, my dad wasn't that dude. He showed his love in different ways, which absolutely. I didn't understand when I was coming up, right? Nor did I expect him to be that type of dude. I was more scared of my dad than anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, at least in the black community, fatherhood, a father's love was basically there's a roof over your head, there's food in your stomach.
I'm going to work every day. I spank you
and clothes on your back.
Yeah,
and that's how they communicated. And when I was young, I think I really felt the absence of that. You know what I mean?
You could tell.
I did at the time. I couldn't put my finger on it and say what.
But now, as an adult, you can see it.
Absolutely, as an adult, I'm like, whoa, that. And even before that, really, when I had Junior, when I had Junior, I was 16, and I had the wherewithal at that point to still really realize, like, man, that just don't seem right. And so me and my oldest boy, we're
So
we're the
when you
close. We're
had
real
Junior,
close.
you wanted to love on him. You wanted to give him everything that you thought you should be getting. And so at a young age, you had to realize it.
Right. And I was still pretty strict because that's what I knew. But I knew that I had to be more loving than what I was shown. So yeah. So just like you said, like I always tell my kids I love them. Like I said, my oldest boy, he's 30, and when we get off the phone, we still say, love you, and he says, love you, Pop.
Yeah, better. You bet that is a prerequisite. You need to some way somehow. Even still, when I tell my boys, it's time to go to bed. When I go in there and I tell them it's time to go to bed, when I turn off the light, I tell them I love them. My son's 1 year old, and I try to teach him to say love you. I try, I say it to him, just hold him. I say love you, just see if he'll say it back or whatever.
What do you think?
He didn't have that.
So why do you think it was so prevalent? I mean, I chalk it up with my dad. I chalk it up a little bit too. He grew up in an era that was just, and my dad's from the South. My dad's from Alabama. So black man from Alabama in the 50s, 60s, like
it's rough. It was rough.
So maybe there was no room to be.
Well, I think it's generational too. I think it's something that you're, like you said, when you had Junior, you didn't realize you were missing it until you had Junior.
Right.
So it's something that I'm sure my dad never got it. And I'm sure his dad never got that type of love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I don't want to like misconstrue like love. I know my dad loves me. And now, being 2020, anytime I hang up the phone with him, whether he says it or not, I say, love you, Dad. And he says it back to me most of the time. Unless he'll miss it every once in a while, but he knows when he hangs up the phone that I love you. You know what I'm saying? And that is a hard adjustment for a man that didn't come from that.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers, I say it to them, they don't never say it back, but I don't care. My little sister, I say it back to her, she says it back. Anytime my wife leaves the house, gotta tell them, you gotta let them know that you love them. Or, I mean, you don't know when the last time you'll be able to tell them that is. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. I think as I get older, so me and my dad, we're not on the greatest of terms currently, right?
Fix that.
And it's not because I don't reach out and don't, he's just, he just
stubborn.
He just there you go. He's just an old stubborn man.
Stuck in his ways, but you keep doing you though, Mark. That's
no. I mean, I have
that's a dope story that you still reach out and you still try to do you. But all you can control is what you have, what you do.
Right, and that's an adjustment on my side because it's first of all, as a man, to put yourself out there and say, hey, appreciate this or love you, Pop, or whatever, and then it's not reciprocated. Then you're like verbally reciprocated. Then you're like, man, what am I doing this? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, as I grow and stuff, I definitely make sure my kids that I said, look, even when me and my dad weren't talking, I would still say, look, you still got to send whatever Father's Day card to your granddaddy. You still got to send birthday card.
You have to.
Card, blah blah blah. Because me and his relationship is not your guys' relationship.
Right.
So your relationship with your grandfather is, you know what I'm saying? And I think as men, as human beings, but as men, we have to make sure that we do that, because so many times we want people to jump on the bandwagon with our battles.
Yes.
You can't do
Explain to them why you're right. You want them to understand this is why I'm right and this is why he's wrong, and it's not always about that. It's sometimes it's just like you said, stubbornness. There doesn't have to be a right and wrong when it comes to family.
Yes. And I think so. Kind of segue. This was a big enough issue to you to where you wrote a book, right? Which for everybody out there, it is called Black Fathers: 50 Perfectly Imperfect Images and Quotes that depict the greatness that is Black fatherhood. So, what made you want to have this book?
I was out with my kids, and older gentleman, white. I'm just doing normal, everyday stuff with my kids. I think we were at Target, and we were getting water balloons or something, to that effect, so they could play outside. It's hot out here. and I don't, after noon, they're not supposed to be on their phones and no devices till 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So I needed them to get outside. So it's up to me to provide something fun for them to do during this COVID that's outside.
Okay.
And so the guy comes up to me, watching me and my kids are very well behaved in public. And if, you know, they look you in the eye, they order their own food, they do those type of things.
Okay.
The dude comes up to me and he's like, and in a condescending way, and he says, "You're such a good father."
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I was like, well, I'm just doing everyday stuff. Thank you. First of all, you know, I appreciate you seeing the goodness in that, but it was an unnecessary comment. So most people would take that and be like, you know what, he wasn't being any way condescending, but to me, as a black man doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, I watched him watch us. You know what I'm saying? He watched us going through Target and doing what we're supposed to be doing. And he was like, "You're such a good father." And I took it like, is he saying this, meaning it? Or is it saying it that most black men kind of, you know, aren't? You know what I'm saying? That's the stereotype. But most of the brothers I know are really good fathers.
That's true.
And so it's not our place to show them that we're good fathers. It's up to us to be good fathers.
Right.
We're not showing them. We don't want any accolades for it. We don't want any, you know, I don't want any praise for being a good father. Don't tell me I'm a good father. I'm a good father because I want my boys to be good men. That's the only reason I'm here.
So it's kind of like, it was kind of like a backhanded compliment. So I guess
yes,
the way that you kind of looked at. No, I get it. You know, because I've heard. So some that is similar to that is I heard when I went to when I would go to interviews or whatever, and they would say, "Oh, you're real articulate."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like,
you don't sound black.
No, hey, look.
What?
Real quick on that, because you in Texas. So when I first moved back to Texas, and this is back when I was like 25, moved back to Texas, stayed there for a couple years before I came back home. Man, I would hear that all the time. They would say, you don't sound, and to be honest, look, they say you don't sound black, and then to be honest, I would hear that from black and white people.
Yes.
And I would say, well, what does that mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I mean, please. I mean, school me on sounding black, please.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah. So and I think that's a big term. That's almost a big term now. What do they say? The term I saw on social media with some with Joe Biden and someone else, and they said he was a black accent. A black accent.
Right. What?
I was like, I mean, I can see somebody that's trying to maybe be cool or, talking slang when they're not really from that world or that's not really who they are. But it is condescending to say, oh, you're articulate.
And you know what is hurtful about it is that I understand it.
I know, ain't there something?
That is the most hurtful part about it is that I understand where that dude that told me I'm being a good father, I understand what he was talking about. I didn't take too kindly to it, but I completely, I was like,
I don't have the stats. I don't have the stats ready. I know I looked into it at some point, but it is blown out of proportion. And I'll look at it by the time I post this video. I'll kind of have some of those numbers up, but it's blown out of proportion. It's kind of a little bit of a misnomer as far as how they say there's so many absent black fathers, right? I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. I think there's a lot of absent fathers, period, regardless of race.
I think that used to be the case.
But I think they blow it out of proportion. They make it a much bigger number than it is. Because like you said, like all the brothers I know, and all the ones that I've had on my show,
very present.
Yeah. I'm like, I know them. I know their kids. They like, sometimes when they come to the studio, the kids is out there in the lobby and me and their dad is recording and then we,
Yeah, right.
And even though my dad was mean, right?
He was there. He was
there. I mean, he fed me. He put that, like I said.
But look at you though. Look at the man you've become.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff that I didn't agree with my father.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and my kids right now, I can tell you 110%. I'm struggling right now trying to find something, a path for my 12-year-old. I'm just struggling to find something that he can latch on to guide him, you know, through this rough life for a black man. I'm struggling. Like, what I mean by that is, we've tried sports, not interested. We've tried science camp, science, you know, experiments and all that, not interested. I bought him some drums, not interested. I've tried to get him an LLC for illustrating. You know, I have children's books coming out, and not interested. He was going to be the illustrator, just literally, he loves to draw. But when it comes to things that are difficult for him, like have to take some kind of, you know, coaching or some kind of, you know, anything that comes with some kind of hardship, it's tough to get him to go in that path.
What made you so, what's the motivational factor for you personally to be so active in your children's life? Like for me, my dad wasn't real active in my life, but because of that, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to put Junior through that. So it doesn't sound like our experiences are the same in that regard. So what was your motivational factor? Or was there no motivational factor? It was just like, that's what it is.
It wasn't. It was just, I knew at that point, not saying my life was over, but it was more of now I'm the teacher. I am the guy. I have to be your guidance.
Yeah.
You are of my DNA. I have to lead you at this point in time. And so with every fiber of my being, even being divorced, right? They live with their mom full time.
Okay.
And I lived in Mansfield, which is about an hour and 10 minutes away from where I'm at now. Okay. And I was working from home, and my wife was working downtown, which is kind of in the middle. Okay. So she got remarried and moved to Allen. And we tried to commute, you know, so we can visit and all that stuff, and I can have my time with my boys. But it just wasn't enough for me because I was seeing them almost every day when I was in Mansfield because they were 5 minutes away from me.
Right.
And so me and my wife literally took everything we did and moved out to Allen to be 5 minutes away from my boys.
That's good. Yeah.
Just because I can't stand being away from them. So I don't really think there was any driving factor for me to be the father to them that I'm trying to be. And I in no ways saying that I'm perfect. Right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I have my flaws. And I can also honestly say, Mark, is that I'm learning every day. Like I learn as much from them. And that's what the book is about. I'm learning as much from my kids as they are learning from me.
Yeah, the book is almost a devotional.
It is. It is absolutely that.
I read through it, and it is very encouraging. And I do really encourage everybody that's seeing this to not only be supportive of a Black entrepreneur and author of a book, but even to give it to a father, because even though we don't do it for accolades, it's still nice to get accolades from people that matter, you know, to you. And I think the book is a good way of showing that, and it can put into words where somebody may not be comfortable to say.
It just shows appreciation, like
absolutely,
like. We as Black fathers are almost unnoticed. And I can say that about Black mothers too. So I didn't create this book just to be on the side of Black fathers, because Black mothers probably go through 10 times what we go through.
Yeah.
Being single mothers and all that type thing. But I'm saying I put it together because I am a Black father and I don't know what a Black mother goes through. So to my Black mothers out there, I applaud you. Black fathers, white fathers, Mexican fathers, Asian, I applaud all of you. So this is not to discredit any of them. I'm just saying this to me was personal, and I felt like it needed to be out there.
Right. Yeah, no, later I'm gonna have some later episodes on because I think the plight of men, period, it has been really messed with, to the point that's why we're having some of the problems we are today. Without,
I mean, they're feminizing us.
Right.
It's
you said it. So, but I agree with you, and that's some of the topic. Because look, I mean, on so many different levels. I mean, even at least back in my day, because like I said, my kids are all grown adults and that kind of thing. Paying child support and going in there and requesting more time from the judge and all of this,
That's crazy that we have to do that.
Because a man is really just a wallet. Now I get it. There's some guys are just deadbeats and they don't, and that's a whole.
They're out there.
It's a whole different deal. But as a man, that's like, look, I have kids. I want to spend as much time with them. I want overnights. I want this. I want whatever. In the court system, at least specifically in Colorado, was such that really didn't matter. They were like, you just need to pay child support.
And that's it. And we don't care if you spend no time with your kids.
Yeah, and everything else is secondary. I was like, that's fine, if we're going to pay child support. But, I mean, it's not important. I mean, you say it's for the well-being of the child, but then you're going to fight me on, I want 3 weeks out of the summer. Or it's crazy.
It's 10 times worse in Texas. You can live with a kid and his mom and not know if the kid is yours, right? Mm-hmm. And say y'all break up, you still have to pay child support if you find out that kid is not yours.
California's like that too.
Yeah. If that kid is not yours and y'all live together for a certain amount of time.
That's crazy.
For the rest of his life, you still have to pay child support.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
A whole nother show. But invite me on. I'm on, brother.
I'll get a panel. I'll put about 4 of us on that.
Yeah.
Cause I know some cats to put on there. So I noticed in your book in the back, it has something. So apparently there's going to be a volume 2.
Yes.
Right? You have and I'll put this in the description. Featured to support at blackfathers.com. So what exactly is that link?
So that's I actually purchased a domain and I'm going to have a website built for it. I build websites and I just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Okay.
But that means if you are proud of what you do and it's going unnoticed, and you're that dude that gets the every other weekend, and when you do get your weekend, you put in the most that you can do, and you taking pictures, and you having emotions, and I want those pictures in my volume too. This one was just taken from Facebook. I literally took to Facebook, got my friends and my family, and put their pictures in it. So I want that real raw emotion in my volume too. Okay. Like I want people that got this book and they really understood what the book was. It trust me, it is not about trying to make no money off of no book. That's not it. It's about the raw emotion and the feeling. That's why I put in there, I put in there and I made it known that I love the graininess, the rawness of the pictures. They're not perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's not a studio. You didn't go to a studio with your baby and take these pictures. These are pictures that are just everyday life, raw. I took it with my camera phone and I wanted to capture that in my book instead of because if you get any book of photos, those pictures are going to be perfect. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the raw emotion, almost like you're there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Almost like you can feel that picture. So the email is support@black-fathers.com. And please, if you get the chance to listen to this, send those pictures into that email and be a part of volume 2. Okay. I mean, and volume 3 and volume 4. I was
going to say, how far are you going to go?
If I keep getting pictures, yeah, I just want to keep getting. I want this to be a movement. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want it to be a movement that the younger generation sees this and be like, wow, this is the right thing to do. I need to take care of my babies.
Right.
I want this to inspire somebody who's like just dropping seeds everywhere.
Right.
To say, you know what? These are Black men that actually made the choice to take care of their seeds.
Right. You know and you said, I think in the book, you also said towards the end, you're giving the proceeds, because like you said, it's not about the money. And you say in the end of the book that some of the proceeds are going to
Thurgood Marshall College Fund.
Okay, Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Okay.
Yeah, TMCF, I think it is .org. Yeah.
Is that a portion? Is that all of it? Is that, or
no? It
to be determined?
10% of what comes in, it will go to TMCF. And I have so far, a lot of the people who have purchased the book have also donated to TMCF.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
So is the book selling well? Is it?
It's selling well. It is. It's doing very well. I'm slowly getting some ratings, and it's only been out 3 weeks, I think now.
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting some ratings on Amazon, so it's moving up the list, and so people know there's a need for it. Yeah.
No. During these times, I think it's very, I think it's very important because there's so many negative narratives that are being pushed
right now. Yes, and not to be political, but it right now in the area we're in right now, it's 50-50, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We are so divided. And so I just wanted to, pull us by our bootstraps and not let us not forget what we are here for. I'm not even about all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had white dads buy my book, and there's actually on Amazon, if you go to my link, there's a white dad that bought my book and said he learned so much from this book. He actually commented.
Wow.
Yes.
On Amazon, on the review?
On the review. One of the reviews I got, he said, coming from a white dad, I learned a ton from this book.
That's good. And that's where it starts. And and look, I applaud you for doing your part, and that's all it is, doing your part to kind of add some of those positive words of encouragement and everything to the community. I mean, that's ultimately that's the basis of this show. Of Good to the Hood is to create a platform to where we can discuss some of these things. I discuss some of the stuff that's music and whatever's trending at that particular time.
Absolutely.
But if somebody goes through there, you'll see. I talk about mental health. I talk about things in the community, a little bit of politics and that kind of thing. So that's important. I think it's important that just each one of us just do what we can where we can.
Even a little, just do a little bit. Yeah. It doesn't take much to unite us.
Yeah. Contrary to belief.
Right. Contrary. You think it take war, but it doesn't. It just takes a little bit of a little bit of listening, and we do so much talking and we don't listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the era we in.
So one thing I want to tell your listeners is, being a Black father, the hardships of dealing with police. So I didn't address that in my book, but I think it's important to address it. And so I was having a conversation with my kids, and the conversation was, don't give them a reason to make you not come home.
Absolutely.
So, and this may be very unpopular. You know your rights. I know my rights. I'm going to take my phone out and I'm going to record it. To me, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. I understand you know your rights. Be 10 and 2. Announce every movement. This is sad, Mark, that we have to have this conversation. Announce.
I said the same thing to my sons. I told them, I said, look, when you're wearing a hat in the car, if it's backwards, if you see a cop,
take that hat off. You don't need a hat in the car.
Yeah, either put it forward, or if you can do it, just throw that in the back seat. You have to say, and you have to do that. You like you said.
Yeah, and when they pull you over, please have both your hands there. Don't, and whoever's in the car, would you tell them to shut the, I don't know if you allow cussing, but shut up. You know what I'm saying? 10 and 2, eyes forward, and when he asks you a question, you do everything that man says. I don't care if he call you an N-word to your face.
Yeah, you gotta get home.
You gotta get home to me. Yeah. That's it. Be very upset about your interaction with the cop. I get it.
Yeah. No, my kids, my kids, they go to some of the protests because speaking about the police brutality, there's the case of Elijah McClain out here in Colorado.
Yeah.
And my kids are going to the protests and participating in that. I even have a video of one of the protests we went to.
And that's dope. Yeah.
And I told them,
they should.
And I said, look, that's a young man's game. So I went to that protest. I went to that protest to show my support and did my thing. They're still going to him. I says, my role as a father is you come home, you compliant, don't say nothing or whatever, then you call me.
Yes.
And then you call me and then let me handle whatever I got to handle. If we got to lawyer up, if we got to do whatever,
yes.
whatever, you let me fight that battle.
Your job is get home.
Yeah. So I went to that protest, and then after that, I said, I'm staying home. That's a young man's
right.
sport.
That's an all day thing. I'm not trying to do all that. Right.
I'm closer to 50 than 40. I can't be out there
right.
3 hours in the sun with a sign. I can't.
Right. Yeah. The game is on. So
yeah.
I'm trying to get to
But
the
I'm
game.
with the movement. I'm just saying we all got to play our part. I'm back at the house, you front of the house.
Right. We all got to do it. Yeah. Absolutely. Hence the book, bro. I'm playing my part. That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Any way I can uplift, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And the book comes from mistakes. Does that make sense? It comes from mistakes that I've made as a father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It comes from stuff that I'm still learning. Like my 1-year-old is right there. What's up, baby? Come here. You want to come say hi to Mark? Come say hi. Say hi.
Oh my goodness.
Hi to the people.
This is an exclusive, the first debut on YouTube, young man. You are on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. So if your listeners have a chance and or if they can afford it, get the book. Even if they can't afford it, tell them to send me an email at support at black-fathers.com and I will send them a copy.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Donnie. I appreciate your time, man. We're gonna definitely
thank you, Mark.
I'm gonna bring you in for some other topics. I think there's a lot we can
I'm one of them. So anytime that you have a show and you need somebody to join in, I'm with you.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, look, folks, for now, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood with my guest, Donnie McDade. Definitely go cop that book, Black Fathers.
Thank you, Mark. I sure appreciate your time, man. I appreciate the pub, and I will not dunk on you when I see you. I promise.
Look, it'll be an alley-oop because I'm just gonna give you the ball.
You just gonna throw it up for
it? Here you go.
Move out the way.
All right, man. Until next time, I'll holler at you.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right.
Later.
And this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. That was Donnie McDade. Good dude. Go get that book. Peace.